On this week's show, we're discussing this show making it to 100 episodes, everything we learned from the Ghost of Yotei State of Play, and The Last of Us is getting a new game mode. All that and much, much more on this week's GamerGuild Podcast. Good game, everyone, and welcome back to the GamerGuild Podcast, your weekly show where we round up all the week's video game news and stories for your listening or viewing pleasure right here on youtube.com/GamerGuildTV and up there in the digital cloud on your podcast preference of choice. Your podcast players for this week are myself at RichieC89 and the Arcane Rogue, Mr. Chris. How are you doing?
I'm good. We made it to 100.
We did.
Again, for the fourth time, possibly.
471 podcasts in total.
Yep. A lot of content out there. But yeah, we made it. Not only do we make it to this 100th episode, which is, of course, a very special episode, century of episodes, but we survived last night as well.
We did, yeah.
Well, all day drinking yesterday in the glorious sunshine, and as far as I can tell, none of us are sunburnt, none of us hungover too much. Although one of our friends, Rob, our audience knows Rob, apparently he was throwing up every 15 minutes last night. He had a burrito on route home, and it clearly did not agree with him. But yeah, he's had a much worse go of it than we have. That's
got to be food poisoning or something there, because I don't think he wasn't hammering it last night.
No, it wasn't worse than...
I saw him at home several times with a glass of water, put it that way.
Wow.
So he's been smart.
He was. And Tom's fine because he was driving, the poor bastard. So he was driving his wife and some others. So Tom was sober and witnessed our demise
you know what?
in Newcastle.
Did you post a photo of us all on Discord? Oh, no, actually,
I did, yes.
I have a photo of Tom, literally at the start of the night. We're talking maybe, this is probably about 3:30, 4 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And you'd be forgiven to think he was hammered, because he is covered in glow sticks, full on with rage and face, like
celebrating 100 episodes. That's what he was doing.
He was in good form despite being sober. It was nice to see him as well.
It was. And you might be seeing him soon as well, because you're away on holiday soon, Richie, so we'll try and get our usual rotation in.
I'm going to be missing for the next 2 weeks because I am going to a wedding in Turkey. I may survive the heat, I'm not sure. It's going to be touch and go. The heat's
getting your teeth done as well, yeah?
And my hairline.
You'll come back a different man.
Yeah,
everyone will be like, who's the new guy on the podcast? No, that's it. We get to 100 and then we get rid of Richie. But I'm glad you're here for the 100th episode, Richie.
Yeah, me
as you
too.
said, it's been 471 with various guests and appearances, but the only constant is you and me. It's always been you and me as the constant. So yeah, here's to another 100 more.
Indeed, and 100 episodes, man. It's been a ride again. So shall we rebrand the channel then? Now we'll hit 100.
Yeah, I think that's about our standard cadence, isn't it? As we've been doing this, 100's too much for us. We need to strip it back. No, I think we like this one. I think our audience like this one. The unification of the channel, and I know we joked about all the old shows and stuff, but we do have some questions obviously lined up from our wonderful audience at the back end of the show as well. So stick around. If you've got any additional questions, drop them in the comments, and we're more than happy to answer them because it's been going a while, and sometimes I think because we forget we've been going for so long that some people might not have been there at the beginning, so they actually don't understand previous shows, podcasts, why we do things the way we do things. So some of those questions will hopefully be answered at the back end of this week's episode.
And we also have Discord, so if you want to go chatting there, me and you always jumping in and out whenever we get time. But we do have a great show lined up for you. But before we get into it, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell so you're kept in the loop. All our amazing content here at the GamerGuildTV, such as our weekly live streams, which we will get back to. We've just been talking to it before we started recording. When I get back from Turkey, we're going to start a series. So in a couple of weeks, so we're open to ideas. We haven't locked anything in yet. So if head over to the Discord or in the comments of this video, let us know what you want us to play, and we'll start a live series.
Yeah, we need to get back to some regular cadence. I think it's we've been slacking a little bit, but there is that just the reality, and why we always say we appreciate everyone's support. It's kind of through thick and thin. It's like good weeks of news, bad weeks of news, personal stuff going on.
The death of S.T.A.L.K.E.R.
The death of our initial core platform of choice. But then just life in general again, kids, family, holidays, everything like that. But we try and do as best we can, and I think everyone's support pushes us through that a lot of the time. So we do appreciate it.
We've both had some family stuff going on the last few weeks. All good news. It's all been good stuff. But yeah,
Beth, it's been hot as fuck as well.
Let's
be honest, the reason, the true reason we probably didn't do Thursdays, I got into this room, so I'm not in. Obviously, I've moved house as well. This new room is. It's much nicer because it's a bit more spacious. It's carpeted. However, the weather we've been having, my word, this was like an oven. I tried to aerate the room, windows open and stuff, but it gets the sun on an evening. So when we stream on a night and it's 8 o'clock, this room, the windows right to the side of me, have been cooking for probably 9-10 hours at that point, and no matter how many windows you open, it doesn't really help. So I did not want to turn on a computer, turn on a PS5, sit under some spotlights for 2 odd hours.
When you already sat there sweaty and feeling like I just want a shower, and let's go in the hottest room in the house.
Yeah, and I also sit here for work most days as well. So I'd been on a virtual training thing all day, and it was just one of them where it was like, I need to get air. And playing games sometimes isn't worth it compared to survival.
Yeah. See, I have a different problem with this room when it comes to the heat. So this room is kind of in a weird spot in the house where it's got no outside walls, so there's no windows. So when the door's closed and nothing's on, sometimes I walk in and go, oh my God, it's a comfortable temperature. Then you give it half an hour, thing switched on, and the temperature just rises because there's no ventilation.
Yeah, you'll need. Told you, I've pointed out the space in the wall where a perfect aircon unit would go.
Yeah, but you have to run an aircon unit to the outside somewhere, so there's no outside walls.
Through the roof.
Yeah, but you know what? If you are too hot and bothered this summer, you can go head over to our store where you can get a t-shirt like this one I'm wearing.
Ah, I didn't even notice you were wearing the new one.
Yeah,
I didn't even notice it. Cool. I like it. I do like the central position one sometimes. The one with the big logo in the middle. I think sometimes I look at it and it's like it really works having it centralized rather than being your traditional just slightly off.
Yeah, so I'm wearing
logo.
For audio listeners, I'm wearing the GamerGuild text one. It's nice and like a light blue.
The fabric looks.
It's nice. It's nice,
comfy as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the premium T-shirt one?
Yeah.
Why? Yeah, it's not one of them Fruit of the Loom pieces of shit. Yeah. Not that they're sold on Spreadshirt. It's everyone's had a Fruit of the Loom T-shirt at some point, and you all know the quality is not great.
Yeah.
Unlike our merch store.
True. I've got yours actually in a box in my kitchen as well. I got a new mug as well, which I forgot to bring out here to show. But I got one of the ones, the white ones with the coloured handles. I went for the blue one. It's in my new work mug because I broke my old one. Yeah. I think it happens. They're not indestructible. They do make your coffee taste better, but they're not indestructible. So you just have to buy more. That's what I did.
A mug. Buy a mug.
So Chris, what have you been playing?
Yes. Still Expedition 33. The Pictos I mentioned. I was telling Tom about the Picto mistake I made, and he couldn't help but laugh his head at me the other day of just how I'd been playing it on ultra hard mode essentially.
Yeah.
He said he was like, you know what, you've done quite well to get to the end of the game without having even used them.
It's the core mechanic of the game.
Yeah, now I've got them switched on and spread out across my entire team. It's surprisingly getting quicker to grind out the levels. I think I'm up to 89, 90 across most of my team now. So I'm working my way through the Endless Tower trial quite effectively. I'm just brushing these guys aside now. I'm like, my L's final gradient attack. Once you've got that with 200 damage turned on, it's like, she just shows up and goes, yeah, get out of my way. So I'm working my way through them. Everything dies. So I'm just making my way through those quite well. And I'm looking forward to starting something new. And like you said, once you're back from holiday, we'll get a stream going with maybe Gears, maybe Halo. We'll see what the audience thinks. Maybe something completely different. Who knows? And just get to something. I think I'm ready for something fresh. And thankfully, there's a lot of things on the horizon. But my fires have been stoked for Ghosts of Yotei. But yeah, nothing to add on Expedition because I think we've been playing it for what feels like for 2+ months now, which I probably have done. But I'm nearly at the end. I'm hoping that Platinum Trophy is in sight. Well, I've got a couple of cleanups.
I hope by the end of next week.
That's it. I would have thought so, yeah. I've got... I need to get one leg for Minoko, which is part of the trials at the Endless Tower, so I'll get that just by default by working my way through. I've got one or two of the musical things to get, and one or two of the journals to get, but they are again all part of like the end game cleanup, so they're just waiting for me to get around to them.
Yeah.
But gestural trials and stuff, done all the little quirky things. So yeah, not much left at all. A couple of big bosses I think I need to fight. I think there's a few trophies attached to like named bosses out there in the open world. So I just again need to go level up to a point where I can actually fight them, and then go take the bitches down.
I've tried one or two with like the open world bosses, and I'm like, it's like, nope, not even close. Like,
as soon as they get like one hit on you and your health's gone already, it's like, yep, I need to come back later.
It's not even when they get like a full combo attack, as if like if you miss one parry or one dodge and your character dies, like, I'm definitely and then you do some damage and it's like nothing. It's like, bing. This is clearly
but a scratch.
Technically, this is possible if I'm perfect and patient, but I'm clearly underleveled. I'm like in the mid-50s at the moment. I think I'm at the point now where you were last week, where where you were talking about deciding whether you needed to go finish the end of Act 3.
Yeah, the campaign.
Yeah, that's where I'm at basically now. So
what level are your party?
I think about in the high 50s.
Yeah, that's about right. I think that's where I was, like 55 to 58, somewhere around there.
I've tried a few bits in the open world. I was telling Tom last night I've climbed all the way up the Reacher to get to the boss at the top, and then it was one of them situations where I am clearly underleveled for this boss. Yeah. Luckily, I can just fast travel back up, so it didn't. It's not one where I feel like a waste of my time, because I got some decent levels, some decent loot. Couldn't finish the boss, but I can just go back.
Yeah, there's a couple like that. Yeah. But I've just realised Donkey Kong Bonanza comes out this week, so I've been kind of wanting something new to play on my Switch. So
there you go.
That could be one. Pick up and go.
That might be one of the things that tied you over to go see Yotei.
Exactly. Hopefully it will.
But let us know what you've been playing in the comments, because we do like to hear from you. But Chris, I think it's time for you to introduce us to, for the 100th time, the gracious. I wanted to.
Oh, the 100th time, and you messed it up.
Chris, would you like to introduce us to
the graciously gathered Gamer Guild Gazette, aka the news?
The news, and as always, our news is brought to you by our wonderful guild heroes, which you can join for as little as 99p over on the YouTube channel. Gives you early access to this very show. Pokemon Blue, when I finally find time to do some more recordings. I will get there. We're getting towards the end, but I will get there.
Yes, you will.
It's not. This has not been an Ocarina time situation where that took me basically a full year. It's been maybe a month and a half, 2 months that it's been going for. But yeah, we'll get there. First news item, Chris. Ghost of Yotei had a state of play breakdown. Holy shit! It looks good.
Oh, I mean, Ghost of Tsushima already is probably one of the most beautiful games you'll ever see, and then the fact that they've had another 5 years to cook on a sequel, and obviously now they've just got more power, because Ghost of Tsushima was of course a PS4 game as well, which got a director's cut and a port, but building it from the ground up specific for this generation, it just looks stunningly beautiful. And I can't wait to. I couldn't help but watch this state of play, and the comparisons are going to be made throughout Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Yeah.
It has to happen. You can't talk about this game and not talk about another AAA game that came out this very same year.
That's a very similar plot from what we can tell as well.
Yeah, it does, yeah. So the Ghost of Yotei one is like, there's the Yotei 6, I think they're called. Yeah. And you're in a mission to kind of take them down for presumably killing your family or your clan. And you're going to go hunt them down one by one, and that's going to take you through a new area of Japan and in a most likely bigger open world with more exploration and characters to meet. But yeah, it just, aside from looking stunningly beautiful, I can't help but know that it's going to be better than Assassin's Creed in nearly every way, which seems so harsh. But after playing Tsushima and then Shadows, bearing in mind, Ubisoft had all of the learnings from Ghost of Tsushima. They were able to look at it over the last several years and also go, right, how can we match this Game of the Year winning title? Not obviously beat for beat, still make it their own, but they had literally the best thing to compare to and go, right, are we doing it better than Ghost of Tsushima? And they still put out Shadows, missing the mark on an older game. So you think, like, right, if you're going to do feudal Japan, how can you not at least strive to better it? Whereas I guarantee you, the team over at Sucker Punch approaching the sequel went, right, how can we better everything we did in the first game? Which is why I know this is going to be an absolute banger. The story's going to be fantastic, the world's going to be more beautiful than ever, and the exploration and the combat, more importantly, going to be super fun. I got really frustrated with some of the combat elements in Assassin's Creed where it felt either very samey or splitting the characters did it a disservice in the end, because I like to play stealthy, but then sometimes I like to be a bit of a brawler. But having to make that decision ahead of the activity, it kind of got lost a little bit. Whereas the great thing with Yotei is you can do it all.
I feel like with Shadows, they've tried to do an interesting way of kind of produce two games at once, but it's very, very clear Naoe is the main character when I've seen you play it. But because Valhalla was very, very hack and slashy and did very well, it feels like they've felt you need to have a hack and slash. You need someone who can be a bit of a brawler, just get in there rather than being stealth. Although they're trying to push more the stealth focus with it, they didn't. It feels like they didn't fully commit, and that's why Yasuke exists. Which they worked them interestingly well into the narrative. But I always felt the biggest problem with Shadows was how the narrative was presented. I didn't like the kind of assassination ring things that you got. I feel like the earlier Assassin's Creed where you're playing through a proper story works better.
Yeah, there's something that gets lost on by the time you get to like the 120th ring of enemy types, or there's a new gang you uncover. Like there's nothing more. Like it's fun initially, but then when you're near the end game, you're like, right, I've nearly completed this whole visual map. And then you kill one random person in the street, and it turns out he was one of the members of another group, and the little cloud pops open, and it opens up a whole another 6-7 people to hunt down and kill. It's like, oh. But that goes back to, I think, with Ghosts of Yotei, and they make a point in the State of Play mentioning it, that they don't... It looks like they're trying to get away from you spending so much time in menus and systems, and more speak to people, learn stuff through the living world, and that's going to funnel you towards your objective, rather than here's a screen, click to this screen, find this screen, go to this location. It's going to see, it feels like they're going more built in. I think they called it the clue system, where when you're exploring around, you find new people, and you can choose what 3 types of questions to ask, and that might lead you towards a different outcome. So I think it's going to feel a lot more natural and embedded in, which I think for as stunning as the open world's going to be, that's what I'm intrigued to see. Because, again, the open world formula, it's tried and tested and done, right?
Yeah.
So how can you keep evolving it? And remember, the first game did that beautifully with the wind system, where to find your way around, you didn't need a marker on screen. You just followed the leaves, or you followed the wind to take you in the right general location.
Yeah.
So apparently we're a big enough show for sponsorship now, guys. So check out this ad.
If you like video games, then you can't miss Call Me By Your Game. It's a podcast hosted by me, Sweetie Pie Connor McCabe, where I invite a guest to share about a special video game from a memorable moment in their life. That's right, it's baked in nostalgia. Was Persona 5 a warm blanket during the pandemic? Did Mario Kart 64 feel like a vacation? Or does Spyro remind you of that winter break with Dad? These are the types of stories told on the podcast. So call me Tetris, Half-Life, or StarCraft 2, it's up to you. Find the show wherever you get your podcasts, and get ready to call me by your game.
I think there's something to be said where, I mean, you want to try and get away from death by menu, which I don't think Ghost of Tsushima actually had that problem, personally honest. But
no, that didn't feel like it did.
I kind of like getting locked into a story mission at times, because then you're focused on, especially with open world games, because then for that hour or so that you're playing through the story mission, you're locked into the story. Where this is where I feel like Assassin's Creed's fallen down, where the story is actually really good, but because it's so spread out and kind of quite thin on the ground, the way it presents it, that's why I say the problem's how it's presented rather than the story itself. It's a good narrative, but you spend so much time away from it. And sometimes I saw my girlfriend literally accidentally kill one of the main targets. Go, without knowing anything about him or why they're there, or and it's just like, okay, that's where I feel like it falls out, and I feel like Ghost of Yotei is leaning that direction. It'd be interesting to see how they make sure the narrative stays the driving force through the gameplay, because you run the risk, I think, of it just being just an open world action stealth game, where what made, I think, Ghost of Tsushima special was that story and how it worked into the open world.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah. To get into some of the detail of what they talk about and the way they're doing it is, interesting enough, one of the things they did showcase was the ability to jump back to Atsu, who's the main protagonist in this one. She's the one who's clearly been a family or something that's been killed by the Yotei 6, and at any cost she's going to hunt them down. And it's clearly she's going to be on some journey to become like the ghost, similar to Jin Sakai did in the first game, where there's all the basically shit that she's going to do to hunt these people down. It's going to build her reputation, and I think everyone's going to be scared that she is like a ghost of someone. Hopefully it's the ghost of Jin. That would be great if like Jin's story ended up being one of those like legendary tales that you hear about from the first game, and they go back to it. But they said you can flash back to her younger years with the press of a button. So similar, I think this is like PlayStation first party through and through. You know, they did it with Ratchet and Clank, and then they did it with Spider-Man. It's like the ability to just like skip between an absolute entirely different world in the drop of a hat. At any point you can apparently click the button and it just takes you back to a younger child's life. So I'm curious to see how that's going to work. Are you going to get like a prompt to say something happened here when Atsu was a child? And you're going to go, you can either obviously crack on with your journey, or you can go, oh, okay, and learn some backstory with like a child. Yeah. I'm really curious to see how it plays in, or is it going to be locked off? Like, imagine if you're in the middle of a fight with a giant samurai. You just press a button and then all of a sudden you're like,
I imagine it's going to be one of them. You have to be out of combat to do. But I can totally see it being a case of you're walking through an area, and she goes, "Oh, I was here when I was younger." Something along that, like, kind of verbally say something, rather than just a press triangle now flashing on the screen. Mm-hmm. But you mentioned being like the ghost of the new game. She's been given the name of the Onryo, which I've just Googled, and apparently it's a vengeful spirit in Japanese. So basically, it's a different kind of ghost. But that's who apparently she's gone by the narrative from what I've seen. She's meant to be quite infamous. Like, I think she's on the run.
Well, she may not have the same moral compass that obviously with Jin's story is he was part of a samurai clan. His uncle, remember, who was taking him through the whole narrative, was very stubborn against, like, no, samurai don't do this, samurai don't use these nefarious techniques of like poison and such, and then that kind of ended up culminating in the story's, I guess, finale, really.
It was his dilemma with, do I follow the way of the samurai, or do I use these nefarious, these shameful ways, but they ultimately will preserve more life, save my people, but I would lose my honour. That was his internal dilemma, wasn't it?
Such a problem. I would disregard all honour to save my family. I just want you to know that.
Yeah, same.
Like, I think we've said that, I can't remember what we were talking about before, but it's like, I might have been probably talking about like Joel and Ellie and doing the clicker cast of saying like, put me in that position where it's friends or family over people I don't know. I'll do fucking anything. I'll stab people. I'll poke people in the eye. I'll chop their Achilles heels off. Just anything that needs. Or it's not the moral way to do it. It's like, I don't care. I'm saving my friends and family.
And this is why we have maintained a friendship with you. Because if I wronged you, I'm dead.
I'd bite your nose off.
It's fear. That's
all my friendships are maintained through inherent fear. Yeah,
all good relationships are maintained through fear.
Yeah. Back to the game, though. Enzo is the area that we're going to be travelling through in this one, and they describe it saying it's far different from the war-torn island of Tsushima. So it doesn't seem like this is going to be like ravaged by Mongol invasion. It seems like it is going to be a little bit different. Yeah. So I'm curious to see how, again, just from an art style perspective, how they make it feel different from Ghost of Tsushima, because Japan's such a varied country and it's got so many like almost like mini climates throughout it, and we've seen that in the first game. You go from snow-capped peak to lush bamboo forest to like open plains of wheat and such, and again, everything we've seen looks absolutely beautiful. But having the ability to kind of explore at your own freedom with the wind and stuff, they've said in the State of Play they encourage people to focus on the player's freedom more than ever before. One example they gave was the clue system, which we alluded to a few minutes ago, which can lead players in any different direction, where some information gained during like interrogation sequences can have you taken one route, or if you find out some other information that could take you to a whole different area. So I'm really curious to see how this narrative kind of just rolls out naturally. But of course, with still focus on combat, because I think that was the best thing about it. And playing Assassin's Creed Shadows, that was the downfall to it. Was it just they got on, I wouldn't say close to it, but they tried to do something slightly different with like the parry and such. But ultimately, it was a very traditional hack and slash. But if you recall, the stances in Ghost of Tsushima really made you think twice about your approach, your tactics, who you were fighting, your weapon loadout and such. And this seems to be doubling down on that with more weapon variety than ever before. Slight variations on stances, because of course Atsu isn't Jin. She's going to have different weaknesses and strengths that he had and didn't have. So
I think she's meant to be like a swordsmith's daughter, so she's not going to be a trained samurai in the same way Jin has. Which is, I feel like instead of the stances, they are probably going to be a bit more focused on different weaponry for different tasks. I'm looking forward to getting dual wield katanas.
Yeah, that looks cool, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think a few things are going to return as well. We've already seen like the bamboo strike game, the chill in the spa. Are you going to see Atsu's butt like you used to see Jin's butt when he used to get in?
Maybe.
Most likely. But yeah, I think I'm just looking forward to just exploring it at my own leisure and just going around with fun combat. And I think one of the things they did talk about and add into this, because again, with it being a state of play, I do like the fact that state of players like go on to like quite nerdy detail like you would never see in an actual showcase, because they just don't have the time, and the audience maybe isn't specific for that. They went a little bit into the sound and the different modes, and I think one of the ones that stood out for me was I think is it Kurosawa mode is back, which is the black and white
in Japanese.
They added in some new additional modes as well, which I thought was really, really cool, where in terms of music, so I think one of the tracks was already released. They announced that, so you can listen to them on Spotify now.
I'm sure I saw there was 2 soundtracks that they've released.
Yeah, 2 out now for you to listen to. And then in terms of the versions they did, they had there's lo-fi beats. So if you want to play this, you can go explore Japan with like some just lo-fi Japanese gaming soundtrack. And I love a good bit of gaming lo-fi music. It's just like a chill-out, relaxing theme tune. And then in terms of the mode, they also had a few different visual modes taken from other directors as well.
Yeah, so there's Miike mode, which has a closer camera, more blood and more mud.
Yeah.
So it's like probably right up close to the camera, lots of gore probably going on.
Yeah. And that's from filmmaker Takashi Miike, who that's what his movies are like known for. That like almost like John Wick-esque close-up, frenetic combat. Yeah,
there's Watanabe mode, which is your lo-fi beats, you're in exploration and combat.
Yeah, that one sounds chill out. Directed by Shinichiro Watanabe himself, the director of iconic anime series such as Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo.
Which are both awesome.
Never heard of Samurai Champloo.
Yeah, it's good.
But yeah, the fact that they're leaning into that. Again, remember how much praise Sucker Punch got for like being a Western studio? But everyone in Japan loved this for like how authentic it was, and then remember down on the other side of the coin how much shit Ubisoft got for certain decisions that led up to it and using certain imagery and everything and the story that they were telling. And it's so weird how one studio can get something so right and the other get it so wrong in many ways. But I think leaning into this and getting like some absolute legends from like Japanese movie heritage and music to come in and actually like have their hands on certain modes. It's just cool. It adds such another layer to the game in ways, and I think the biggest credit to it is just the Japanese voice acting being there from the beginning as well, like this whole thing, and with proper lip syncing as well.
I played through Ghost of Tsushima with I didn't actually play it in Kurosawa mode, but I did play it in Japanese with English subtitles because it just felt that was the better way to do it.
Yeah,
and the only reason I didn't do Kurosawa mode is because it's such a beautiful, pretty vibrant game. I was like, I didn't want to turn off the colours. I
don't blame you for that. Yeah.
In my second platinum of it, I did start in Kurosawa mode. Like, no, this is awesome, but I want
to see it done. Yeah. Especially like as the seasons change through like Japan again, like you wouldn't really appreciate like the falling cherry blossom leaves as much if you couldn't see like the beautiful pinkish reds and stuff falling and just going through like the grassy fields. And I think a lot of Yotei seems to be leaning into more of like an autumnal colour palette. It seems to be that there's more oranges and yellows and such. Beautiful baking sunsets. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Yeah, same. We actually have some hardware news as well. You can get some Ghost Yotei plates for your PlayStation and some Ghost Yotei DualSenses. The DualSenses.
And console bundles as well.
Yes.
You can buy the plates separately, but PS5 limited edition Ghost of Yotei consoles. And I actually do think they look beautiful. It's that Japanese art style. I'm sure it's got a specific name of what it is, where it's like the draw with the paintbrush.
It's just like an ink.
It's what you see in the menus.
Yeah, it's like
it's just like minimalistic. I do actually think the black edition looks better than the yellow gold.
I was going to say I don't like the gold. I do like the black. I also,
it's just clearer.
I'm not a fan of the controllers.
No, I'm not overly fussed on the DualSense controllers.
I think they look messy. I don't think I can see what they're going for, but I don't think it works. It's when it comes down like the handles. If they just stayed at the top with like the wind theme becoming like the ground that Atsu stood on, I think it'd work. But the stuff on the handles, I think, just makes it look messy.
Yeah, I completely agree. Kintsugi style effect, pulled from a ghost mask and brushstrokes reminiscent of a Sumi-e paintings. The towering Mount Yotei is included at the centre of the console design to pull it all together, and Atsu is spotlighted on the DualSense controller. Each of these elements were thoughtfully woven into both console and control designs. This is from Jason Connell, creative director at Sucker Punch. But they do look decent. They don't look terrible. I think we've had far worse DualSense show up. I do wonder what the price of these DualSense controllers are, because remember we had some like weird variation where you could get the limited edition ones ended up like starting to pop up for a little bit more money, doesn't it? So there's like a Death Stranding DualSense now for $74.99. Also looks quite basic, and you can get like a normal DualSense for £55 now. I reckon if you keep your eyes peeled, you can get them a little bit cheaper. I don't know if I actually mentioned it on the show, Richie, but I did get one of these in a sale.
Oh,
don't know if I ever showed it.
The metallic green one.
Metallic teal. It's the one I was after for a long time. But remember, I refused to pay the $64.99 for it. I think I ended up getting it for £49 from Argos in some kind of random deal that popped up, and I always said that's what I was going to wait for.
You know what? There is a few nice little details actually on the controller. It's got like a red stamp on the bottom of one of the horns, and the Ghost Yotei logo on the back of the controller, and some like slash marks. So it does look. There's part of it look nice. I just think the print on the front looks a bit too busy.
Yeah,
and the theme is there for the console as well, but I just don't think I've really liked any of the special edition DualSenses apart from the Astrobot one.
Yeah, the Astrobot one works though because they're not trying to just put artwork on a surface that isn't a blank flat canvas. It's like it's awkward because there is something about the shape and the style of a DualSense, especially the two-tone, where it kind of like I think limits your creative space you've got. Whereas I think Astrobot, because it wasn't trying to put a picture on the controller, it was making it look like a robot. I think that's why it stand out different. Like you said, they didn't put like daft little artwork designs down the handles. They were like, no, like there's his eyes. The nubbins and stuff are just the matching colour theme to the brand of Astrobot. Yeah, and I
think you're right. It's because they're putting a picture in there rather than something thematic.
Yeah, it doesn't fit. Whereas if you make a DualSense look like a robot, it is a piece of technology inherently. It has buttons, it has wiggly knobbles, and it has lights. So making it look like an Astrobot itself, that makes sense. And that's just reminded me, the last few weeks back when they announced more challenge levels for Astrobot, they did announce another tease of something, and I think they're going to announce another controller with the proper light-up eyes in the touchpad. You know, like we'd hoped the original one did.
Yeah.
I think it's going to get like a Game of the Year edition of Astrobot, and the controller's going to come with those light-up eyes. It's going to make noises if you tickle it.
Maybe. Maybe if you tickle it.
If you tickle it, yeah. Like me.
I'm just looking at some of like the retro, some of the limited edition DualShock 4s, because I think some of them were actually just a lot nicer. Cause
yeah, again, I think the two-tone ruins a lot of controllers, because you're splitting your colour palette right across the middle, where you would normally have the biggest real estate for making a design or doing something. It's like minimal's sometimes better. It just is.
It is, yeah. To be honest, I feel like that's just the kind of colour scheming of the whole PS5 though that come into play, which I'm still not a fan of. I don't think I will ever like warm to it at this point.
Not 5 years in.
No, it's just. So. Anyway, let's move on to talk about Tony Hawk's 3 and 4. The reviews are in. It's doing okay, although there's a bit of a difference between the critics and the users. I think I know why.
Do tell.
I think a lot of the users, because the critics have picked up on this, is the problem is no one seems to have an issue with the Tony Hawk's 3 part of the remake. It's the Tony Hawk's 4 part of the remake that people are not fond of.
Which we kind of knew going into it, didn't we? Because of just the stuff that they'd announced ahead of time. It's sitting at an 83 on Metacritic in terms of the official reviews, and then it's sitting as a 6.4 from a user reviews. In terms of 4, it's like the change the basic functionality of the game, right?
Yes. So 4, like 1, 2, and 3 are your classic arcade games. You start a level, you drop in, you've got a timer, do as many objectives as you can to get a high score kind of thing. With 4, the levels have made them bigger, a bit more open, and you picked your level, you dropped in, and then you could freely skate around the area, and instead of just having open up a menu to tell you what your objectives are, you actually had quests of people, which then would start the event. So you might have to talk to someone to go, right, now, I want you to go get a high score. Then you'd have your 2-minute timer. They've removed that part of it, the more free, open bit, which is, I think, is a shame. And pretty much every review has picked up on that. It seems to be like a universal, we wish you didn't, and just kept it more faithful to what 4 was. Yeah. But I think the critics, knowing that, have reviewed the game that it is and made that comment where I feel the users have went, that's not what 4 is. Down. Yeah. I think that's the difference we're looking at.
This is where reviews get quite interesting with remasters, because you don't really get it in any other medium. Like music do remasters, but it's just the same song, just tidied up. Movies get it, and it might have 1 or 2 deleted scenes, but it's fundamentally the same movie. With video games, they can like strip out entire things and put them back in. But then when it comes to being a reviewer, you've got this element of, would you want someone to review this who's played the original? Therefore, they come with an inherent bias of, I love the original, I have nostalgia for the original, I'm now comparing it to the original. Or do you give someone who's never played a Tony Hawk's game before, who maybe doesn't even like skating or understand what it's about, and goes into this going, it's trying to make skating into some kind of like points tally system? And would they downgrade it because they don't get skating, if you know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't, someone doesn't like football, you wouldn't have them reviewing FIFA, right? So there's always that inherent thing. And then you've got other people who know the finer detail, as you've alluded to, of they already knew going into the review what was taken out, so they're reviewing it based on this package. And you see what I'm trying, it's weird how you cannot review this as a gamer without some kind of inherent bias, whether you have or haven't played it. Your knowledge and just grander perception of how games are made and stuff, it must have an impact on it. So yeah, it's interesting between the reviewers and the users how this score varies, and I think it does come from that place.
I feel both approaches are perfectly valid. Someone who's reviewing from the point of, I loved the original 3 and I love the original 4. I'm very excited to see what they've done with it. And someone go, you know what, I've never played them before. Let's just go in. But I think as long as the review provides that context, I think you're fine. I think that's the big thing there. It's like, it's similar to, like, say, if you didn't like turn-based games full stop, would you be the right person to review, say, Expedition 33? And the answer could be maybe, as long as you're providing the reader that context that I'm not a fan of turn-based games.
Yeah.
This is my experience and my review of it. Because then the internet would be the internet, and if someone did that and went, I couldn't get away with the combat, I don't like turn-based, by the end of the game still didn't, but it was better than I expected, you'd still get people go, oh, well, terrible take, but it's like, it's a valid one.
Yeah.
But,
absolutely. To give some context for this, then, Screen Rant gave it a 9 out of 10. They said, what's here is great, but I'd love to see more of it, whether that's in the form of DLC, that long-rumoured Thug remaster, or even a brand new game, only time will tell. For almost 30 years now, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games have given me some of the best memories I've had in gaming, and certainly continues with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. Like my skater at the competition in Rio, it deserves a gold medal. So again, that's like a review where it's a 9 out of 10, but even in that little snippet of review, this guy clearly knows about rumours of a Thug remaster. He clearly has a lot of nostalgia for the older games. So is that 9 out of 10 like slightly skewed because he loves it? Like, is the actual game? Because he doesn't mention in that one. But this is where I think you're right. You've got to just take it for face value. And it seems like it's a decent compilation package. And if you like skating games, you're probably going to love this one.
You know what? It's installed on the Xbox. I will play it at some point, and I will enjoy it. That's kind of where I'm at. Because the remakes 1 and 2 I loved. The only thing that I'm down on is that it isn't a faithful remake of 4. But as a lot of the reviews, I think IGN said it as like, if you put that aside, if you just take the game with what it is, you're fine. Well, yeah.
The big criticism I've seen coming from this, which I think would probably get me the most and score it down, is apparently 8% of the soundtrack's gone.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably just down to license and stuff, but yeah, it said most of the 3 and 4 soundtracks, it's a start in IGN's review. They actually say it's a startling naive choice to make such a famously crucial component of both games gone.
Yeah, I think it is.
That's what I remember one the most. Is like when you and me went through those skater phases in school. It was like, the soundtrack to the Tony Hawk games. That's like what you listened to. Like you were into it.
You listen to like early 2000s,
the culture
like
of skating,
pop rock, and throwing in some like R&B stuff in there as well. Like
bit of AC/DC. Don't forget TNT.
Yeah, you got some classic rock in there. It was like they've had such good soundtracks. I wonder if they just couldn't get hold of it.
It's probably cost licensing. Like music and stuff is worth so much more from a license standpoint now than it ever has been, and in the impact it can have. I think back then they probably just went, we were happy to be associated with Tony Hawk. It's the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th game. Do it, and it probably wasn't that hard. But we've seen sometimes with license renewals recently. Remember, Metal Gear Solid was pulled from storefronts while they renewed licenses to get them back out. We lose Forza Horizon every year when the car licensing deal ends, and I just think there's more inherent understanding of how these deals work now. Like, if you're a music producer and Rockstar come to you and want to put a song in Grand Theft Auto 6, that's a slightly different one because you'll benefit from the rewards of that. But I think this one, Microsoft, Activision, whoever's involved have probably gone back to them and said, look, we just want the songs again, and they've probably charged way too much. And because it's a remaster, they probably don't have the budget for the licensing as they would with a brand new entry.
Yeah, it depends on the sales of it as well. The expected sales, because if they need to pay for it. I think music licensing probably works different now than it did in the early 2000s.
100%.
Early 2000s, you probably went to the publisher, whoever owns the rights for the music, which is usually the publisher, not the artist, and went, we want to put the game in, here's a bag of cash, done. Now, because games exist more in perpetuity rather than just bearing onto a disc and you put in your console, the licensing deals are probably structured more like something like Spotify.
Yeah, like this needs to stay here perpetually, and you will get X amount of royalty, but the game needs to sell for that to happen as well. So
I mean, I feel like if this was me personally as a fan of the games, if I was a musician who had a song on the originals, I'd just waive the fees. I want it there, just like it's part of the game, or a very small cut. But there again, we talk about this is how these people make their living. So, and a lot of money is taken away by the publishers and stuff. And the music industry is a weird one now because they don't really have physical sales anymore. It's all download. So Spotify's making probably a lot more money than whoever's publishing the album, who's making more money than the artist. So the people who make the craft are probably getting the least amount of money.
Yeah, well, we've seen it in recent years, haven't we, where a lot of artists have gone back and re-recorded their stuff just so they fully own it. Like that version of the track.
Is it Taylor Swift?
Taylor Swift, yeah.
Like the most famous recent example. She's been fighting for years to get an entire back catalogue under her control.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so weird, and we could go into the ins and outs of it as well, because you've got, like, I think, was it Michael Jackson famously bought all the Beatles back catalogue from Apple Inc. for, like, just out from under the nose, and it's just like, it's such a weird thing. Like, if you've got the money, you can just do it. I think Bruce Springsteen just sold all of his to Apple for, like, 400 million, or 500, if not probably more. What a retirement bonus that is, right? Yeah. Like, I'm almost at the end of my career. I'm not going to be around much longer, but I'll take 400 million for my family. Just in you can have it. Like magic. But I do wonder sometimes if this game was made under different circumstances, where the budget limitations are for songs. Like, did they have maybe all of the songs lined up to go, but then depending on forecasts and how well maybe 1 and 2 performed, it got stripped back on. We can't spend that much money on the soundtrack. We can't, because you got to imagine they're paying likeness royalties to the skaters as well. Tony Hawk's taken probably a big cut for doing Sweet FA, other than his likeness and name is on the box. And then all the other pro skaters and the secret skaters who they get in, that all comes with cost implications. And because, I think the biggest thing here, Richie, because this is in Game Pass now and this is Microsoft, let's face it, they're not really getting any bump on sales at launch from any Xbox players.
Well, that's it. Microsoft, as we talked about last week, are kind of doing a bit of consolidation. So it's possible that the game was too far along that it couldn't be cancelled. Because there was rumours at one point that it wasn't going ahead.
Yeah, there was.
Maybe they've had to rework things and they've accepted the budget cut and went, right, we need, what can we cut? And unfortunately, the music's probably the easiest thing to cut.
Yeah.
Because whoever owns the music rights doesn't probably get a penny till the game is out. Yeah. So it's like, just if we just cut that deal's off the table for that song.
And this is where, with budgets and such, especially at Microsoft, with that Game Pass model, it's like you really do wonder. Them putting this game out, the numbers are so skewed. Like, the only true number you're going to get is probably the PS5 sales, where you get actual box value numbers of, like, it sold X amount on PS5 because people bought it. But when they look at that Game Pass model, they're like, well, how much of a bump have we seen in subscribers because of it, and what's the long tail of that? Do they hang around for a couple more months? Like, what's the longevity of this particular game to merit spending the full budget on music licensing? And it's such a deep rabbit hole to go into.
An interesting thing that could potentially do, if it is things were cut for, as we suspect, for budgetary reasons, there could be some of it where the artist or the publisher just didn't want to be involved. Full stop. That's it. That's entirely possible and within their rights to do so. You have to look at it as a case-by-case basis. But what if they had some internal metrics when, based on the number of sales or Game Pass hours played, however, basically what's generating the revenue, when they get these revenue milestones, can then patch in songs that were missing. Right, now we have the money, get the next song. Yeah. I hope they don't do it as paid DLC. That will be...
soundtracks,
New songs in there that were not in the original game. That I think that's fine as paid DLC. Songs that were in the original game the expectations that they should be there, so that shouldn't be paid DLC. So it's that you're weighing that up thing. But realistically, you know what I could do? I could just bring up the Sony Hawks 3 or 4 soundtrack on YouTube.
Just have it in the background
and just play it, because with the way my setup works, I'll be playing on this screen in front of me anyway. So that screen up there, I could just have the YouTube video on. Job done. So I'm happy.
Job done.
So I can work around this, and you could just put it on your phone, just turn the music on in the game to off.
Yeah, you certainly could. That's definitely one way of circumventing it.
Hack the system.
In terms of Tony Hawk's, then, now we've hit the end of 3 and 4 remaster. Where does this franchise go? Are you thinking a new game? Are we thinking a Thug remaster? Like, where would your money lie now as a fan of all the games?
I think I would like a Thug remaster, but I feel like a new main entry in the style of the arcade thing could be a good choice now.
Yeah, because they are at that point where they'll know the interest levels for skating games, because they've just put out 2 remasters. So that's a good gauge. Skate from EA is probably going to be out in the next year or 2. So they'll have a good metrics for how well Skate performs and if there is a genuine hunger for a brand new one. But then at that point, is Tony Hawk's a bigger brand than Skate? Absolutely, right?
100%, yeah.
So, yeah, I guess, and then maybe have Thug to fall back on if a new entry doesn't do that great. Sprinkle that nostalgia on people again, and they'll come crying back for Thug. Or we might just not say anything, because this might be Microsoft going, you know what, the remasters are done. We've finished what we promised to do. Cutbacks, studio layoffs, prioritizations. They go work on Call of Duty.
Yeah,
who knows?
I think we could see a Pro Skater 6.
I mean, at what point does Tony Hawk? I mean, he's long retired professionally, right? At what point is it like? Is there a new up and comer who does it? Who takes over?
Maybe.
Like who is the current Tony Hawk who's out there now doing Indy 900s and stuff?
But there's still, I mean, I don't know. There's still a thriving scene. So I don't know any of the new skaters, but they still do Madden.
Yeah.
I feel like the branding is stuck.
Solid.
Unless they decided to change it to, like, I don't know what you would change it to. EA Sports Skating. Activision Sports Skating or something.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a cheap knockoff.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Oh. It is interesting. But yeah, I think I would lean towards them doing a Tony Hawk 6 in the style of the current arcade games. Like that 1, 2, 3, and 4 are now, rather than a Thug remaster. I wouldn't be against a Thug remaster. It's a good game. But anyway, Chris, PlayStation are continuing their celebrations for 15 years of PlayStation Plus, with some new games being added to the catalogue, and to be fair, they're bangers this time round. Some of them. Some good games in this list.
What have we got then? What games have we got?
Well, Cyberpunk 2077 is probably the biggest one. Do we need to talk about Cyberpunk, or does everyone knows everything they need to know about Cyberpunk?
I think most of the games people are comfortable with. We'll just pick out some of our favourites. But yeah, give them a run down the top ones.
Yeah, well, so the list is Cyberpunk 2077, Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden. That's one where I think we definitely should probably talk about. You're the expert on that one. Tell me about Banishers.
It's a game you shouldn't sleep on. I think, again, I don't think we need to go into them all to tell them why. I just think if you've got PlayStation Plus and you're looking for something new to start, Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden should not be overlooked. It's, third person. Again, if I reckon this would be akin to Plague Tale in terms of like the level of visual quality, gameplay quality, story, narrative, exploration. It's similar to that, but with less rats, and swap it in for ghosts and dead people.
I am actually very tempted for Banishers. Once I've finished Expedition 33, I need to look I need to look what's coming out and when to make a decision. Because we've got Yotei coming, Pokemon coming, Metal Gear Solid coming.
Yeah. Is it worth? This is one I've said though, like you'll enjoy with your girlfriend, because when I was playing this with my wife, it was the story and the narrative decision making that you had to do when you interact with certain characters. Depending on what you've learned about like their backstory, the investigation work you do, similar to a bit like the Batman Arkham series. Like when you learn about someone, you'll meet their ghost version, and then you have to backtrack through what happened in real life, finding like clues in the open world, analyzing like their ghosts. I forgot what they called it, but like basically the essence that they've left behind. So you can interview them almost as like interrogate them as a ghost, and then at the end of it, you make a decision whether you banish their soul and you reap the rewards of their soul to basically help your character, or you can send them to heaven, basically, or hell, depending on what they did. And there's a good couple of really difficult, like, story, moral decisions where I had to pause it, turn to my wife, we'd have a 5-minute conversation about, like, what had happened before, what they'd done in the real world, the impact it has on who's left. So, again, just because someone's dead, they still have family and friends and stuff and loved ones around, which it's like, do they deserve to go to hell because of what they have or haven't done? And it's a really interesting story narrative that happens. And it's Don't Nod, so from Life is Strange and stuff, that you know they write good characters and story. And the gameplay is fun as shit as well. You get, like, just tons of weapons. You're fighting these, like, ghoul characters, creatures, and the world is stunningly realised as well for, like, 1800s America, like, Newfoundland type era where they're just settling in. Think of the Pilgrims. it's just an era of video games I've never really explored much, with a nice little horror-y twist sprinkled over it. So yeah, I think you and your girlfriend would love this, and it's a decent platinum run as well. And you've enjoyed the Plague Tale games, so I know you'd like this in a similar look to it.
I think you go back and play Plague Tale 2 actually.
Yeah, that's well. And Cyberpunk. If you've not played that yet, then what are you doing?
Yeah, we've been talking about Cyberpunk for 5 years now, for 400 odd episodes.
Yeah, I still need to go back to it myself. So
you know what? I bought it in a recent PlayStation sale like a few months ago, and now it's there on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, I bought it last Black Friday, thinking I'll get to the complete edition with the DLC, and I thought I'll get around to it, and I just haven't. So it's just sat there on my shelf.
I had no intention of playing it when I bought it. I just wanted it back in my library because I played it on Stadia. Yeah. Obviously, I don't have it anymore. It's like, oh, this is a bargain. Like, I want it in the library, so when I eventually want to replay it, when I'm 900 years old and retired, when I have time.
That's the mistakes of a gamer right there. It's like, I want it. I want it on the shelf.
But I don't see it as a mistake, because now it's in my library in perpetuity, where these are part of your PlayStation Plus catalogue, above like the essential tier. Yeah. They may leave. So it's entirely possible Cyberpunk's back off PlayStation Plus before I get around to playing it anyway.
Yeah, it probably will be.
But I think it's worth... one I almost passed on when we're talking about it was Abiotic Factor, but then I glanced at the Steam page and it's got overwhelmingly positive reviews. So Abiotic Factor is a survival crafting experience for 1 to 6 players set in the depths of an underground research facility, caught between paranormal containment failure, a military crusade, and chaos from a dozen realms. The world's greatest minds must survive against the universe's biggest threats. So it's kind of like your online survival game, but it has a weird kind of like horror, sci-fi, military twist and all sorts of crazy stuff going on. But it seems really well received.
It sounds like what FBC Firebreak should have been.
Yeah.
It's also this is a day one release as well, so it's coming out included day one on PlayStation Plus. It's
been out since 2024 on Steam, on console it's day one release.
July 22nd that one drops. It's not technically out yet, but
it's early access. That's why it's early access on Steam. So it's been on early access for a little over a year, seemingly doing really well in terms of reviews. So if you are into your survival games, it's probably worth checking out.
Side note of New Eden, it's the 1600s, not the 1800s.
All right.
So it's even further back.
I feel like it's got a bit of Expedition 33 about it.
It does. It's got that kind of art style to it.
Yeah.
Which is only a good thing.
Yeah. There's the Bluey video game come out. One for your daughter, Chris.
We've already got it, remember? We've not platinumed it yet, because, again, in terms of playing games with a 2-year-old, it's far and few between. It's not like she comes to me and goes, I want to play that now. She doesn't really know what she's doing. So,
you need to go to and go, right, you need to sit down and you need to play the video games. Once you've got the platinum, you can move on to the next game. You need to learn these. This is your heritage.
Yeah. I need help with Expedition 33. Hurry up and learn.
Planet Zoo? Want to build yourself a zoo?
Yeah. Hey, I used to absolutely love Zoo Tycoon.
I never played Zoo Tycoon, but...
It's so good. It's a known quantity, right? It's Roller Coaster Tycoon, but with animals instead. That's all you really need to know. It
is actually from the developers of Zoo Tycoon and Planet Coaster, so if you like Zoo Tycoon back in the day, here's your new one.
It's Frontier who took over for Roller Coaster Tycoon for 3 and 4, so it's, again, they know they do it. Also Jurassic World Evolution, like all those type of park simulators. These are the masters at it. If you don't want to look after roller coasters or dinosaurs, then go look after animals.
We've got Risk of Rain 2, which I think might still be the highest viewed video on our channel.
No, it's not anymore.
Isn't it?
Nah. Right. I'll find you the actual answer, but it's not.
One for you, Chris. Tropico 6.
Yeah, love Tropico. 1 specifically. I think the first 1 and 2. It's more of the same. It's kind of, ironically enough, it's like Zoo Tycoon, but you're a dictator on a tropical island instead. Maybe a bit closer to SimCity to give it its credit.
Instead of animals in cages, you're putting people in cages.
Yeah, absolutely. Or you can assassinate them.
Yeah, fair.
That was one thing that I always thought was funny.
Easiest way to keep the crime levels down is just to kill every criminal.
Yeah.
Any crime.
Can't be doing crimes if they're dead.
Exactly. They might stage a rebellion against you. We've got New World Eternum.
Yep, is it New World's the Amazon game, right? Amazon.
Oh yeah,
Studios
it is.
game.
Yeah,
that isn't on Luna still after several years.
Is this it? Because it's got the suffix Eternum. I'm not sure. Is this?
I think Eternum was the not Game of the Year edition. It
is. Yeah.
Like a repackaging of all the content is included in Eternum from the first year or season or something like that.
Yeah, the world you set in. Well, you set in the island of Eternum in the game, so that's what it is.
Right.
But yeah. And we got some Twisted Metal 3 and 4.
Yeah, the old PlayStation classics getting ported across.
Yeah.
Never really got into Twisted Metal. Once I played the first one, I was I get it. It's cars in an arena, fun.
Yeah,
but
I think
it's
that's
nothing
all
I'm
it
ever
was.
going to attach myself to.
Yeah.
TV show's apparently okay.
I never had any interest in watching it.
Me neither.
My pick is probably Cyberpunk or Banishers. I'm going to say Banishers is probably the one because everyone knows Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
And if you want to play Cyberpunk, you probably have played it by now. Where Banishers, I remember calling it actually. Where I was looking, I think I was doing it with Tom, a podcast with Tom or Rob. When I feel like this is one of them games that people are going to sleep on, but will actually be amazing. Then you came back next week and went, "Don't sleep on it. It's amazing."
Yeah, it's absolutely right. In terms of channel, by the way, our most viewed is in a live video is Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time Part 1. 24,874. It's followed closely by Ghost of Tsushima Legends multiplayer.
Oh, nice.
Which we not already spoke on. I hope Yotei does come with a Legends mode, or they launch a standalone Legends mode, because that element, that mode, is fantastic. In
for
terms
pre-recorded,
of
16,000 for Crash.
Yeah, out of nowhere. Crash Bandicoot first look weird.
To be honest, I had no idea Zelda did that well. At least episode 1.
Evergreen.
Yeah, well, that's it. Episode 2 is just nowhere near the top of the list. I don't even know where it is.
Drop off.
Yeah.
Rise Son of Rome Part 1, nearly at 10,000 as well. Interesting. Again, the choice, you wonder over time, as these games get older, do more people go back to check on them because they're not accessible anymore? I've got the Uncharted Golden Abyss playthrough. I'm expecting over time, as that becomes even more and more inaccessible because the Vitas are out in the wild, die or get lost or sold or broken, that content you imagine is going to get more important because it's not going to be capable of doing, not easily anyway. So people might just go, you know what, I'll just watch the playthrough rather than try and play it myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, and randomly the Indiana Jones Staff of Kings first looks got lots of traction.
Yeah, episode 2 of Ocarina of Time's all the way down at 872 views. So just a small drop off there.
Maybe they just wanted a little bit of Ocarina. They didn't want the whole thing, just wanted a little taster.
Just to whet their appetite and go, you know what, I'll go play it myself.
Yeah, I agree.
Which, you know what you can play yourself, Chris? Last of Us Part 2 has got a new chronological mode out. And it's out now. A bit of a surprise. Seems a cool idea, though.
So for the uninitiated who haven't played The Last of Us Part 2, is the story takes place in a non-linear fashion where you do a couple of days as Ellie, a couple of days of Abby, and then it kind of, the story,
with
as it pans out, jumps. Stuff. Yeah, with flashbacks, and it jumps around quite a lot, to be honest. Sometimes it's a little bit confusing as well. And this is the thing where the show sometimes struggle to adapt that timeline back and forth because a TV show is very different than the game. But yeah, they've announced a free update to celebrate the game hitting 5 years old this past week, where available for all players, downloaded today included, play like never before, chronologically. So all those back and forward bits, and this is reading from the blog, while this structure is very intentional, and core to how our studio wanted Part 2's themes and narrative beats to impact players, we always wondered what it would be like to experience the story chronologically, and now you can finally get that answer. Through the new Chronological mode, we believe players will gain even deeper insight into the Part 2's narrative. Players will be able to see how Ellie being gifted a guitar flows so neatly into her learning to play guitar, for example, while the journey through Seattle will showcase the fascinating parallels between Ellie and Abby's crisscrossing journeys. You'll see just how close they come to running into each other and how their actions impact each other more and more. It was no small feat to bring it together, because Part 2's story is so meticulously crafted. We're grateful to the developers at Naughty Dog and our partners at Nix's to make it happen. So it doesn't look like Naughty Dog specifically worked on this, probably just supported. Yeah. But yeah, aside from that, where do you stand on this? I don't really have time to go play The Last of Us Part 2 again. But when I next get that urge to go play it, that's definitely the mode I'm picking, because I'm very intrigued to see, as it says, like the impact of you're doing something as Abby, and then instead of not seeing that part of the story for 7, 8, 9 hours, you immediately get to see the flip-flop of, like, shit, Ellie was right there, or what you did, Ellie followed on right after it, or vice versa.
Well, I think that's going to be the fascinating bit. Like, it's going to be interesting playing a lot of, like, the flashback stuff in chronological order. But I think when you get to Seattle, that constant bouncing between Ellie and Abby, you're going to realise, have that mental map of where they are in relation to each other. Yeah. Where rather than playing maybe 15 hours as Ellie, then switching over to Abby. So by the time you get to, like, say, stuff in day 2 Seattle for Abby, that's been a while since you went through Seattle day 2 with Ellie, to just literally been ping-ponging back between them. It's going to be very interesting. I wonder, though, how they're going to handle it. Are they going to do all of, like, day 1 as Ellie, then switch over to Abby? Or is it literally going to be you play up to, like, this cutscene as Ellie? Yeah. Then, after the cutscene, you load up as Abby and play
it seems to be. That's the way they describe it, and saying how close they come to meeting each other. I feel like that, like, chronologically, it's chronological. It happens in the timeline of how things are done. So, you must have to, you literally finish a bit with Abby, and then it just pings to Ellie in the next bit. But if you think all of the, does that mean the game's going to start with all of the flashbacks? Yeah,
probably.
And then build up towards them being in Jackson, and then the events after that. It's very, I'm very interested to see it. Like, does it end up being better? Like, who knows? Like, as someone who's played it several times now, I'm really curious to see how this happens.
I do feel like this is like, it's almost like a new game plus thing, where it's not the way the game's meant to be played, but you can have a great time doing it. So if your first time, I'd probably still recommend you play it properly. But then if you want to go back and experience the story again, maybe a year or two later, this is a really cool way. Yeah. And the downside for me is it's the remastered version, with not the original version, which I don't know on the remastered version.
I'm sure by the time you get the itch again, it'll be like a £10 upgrade pack or something.
It's probably something like that. Oh, at the time, it's probably worthwhile upgrading, so... Yeah. Because I never actually got the platinum.
Really?
I haven't got the platinum in Last of Us 1 or 2.
What was outstanding? Grounded mode or whatever it is?
Yes, and I think a lot of the collectibles and stuff. I didn't try to get the platinum of 2. I think I've moved on to something else.
Well, at least there's something else for you there then when you finally do go back.
Yeah. Interesting. So I think if I was to go back, I probably would upgrade to the remastered. Play through. I'd probably do 1 and 2 actually. Play through, get the platinum, then maybe do this as a note.
Yeah, actually, I was going to say...
I wouldn't. When I got to 2, I would play through this mode, then do platinum cleanup.
I was going to say the chronological order, if you use a trophy guide on YouTube, the order of the trophies is going to be all over the place. You're going to be like, it's not right. Very interesting. I think if you do start chronological mode, it does pop up with a prompt recommending you play through the game normally before doing that mode. So there is a little like Naughty Dog message to say like, this isn't how we intended it. Come back after you finished it originally.
Well, you're going to get massive spoilers for some of the emotional high points right at the start of the game. So.
Shit, yeah. And then as a little aside to this as well, they've also brought out 2 new unlockable skins in the game, meaning you can... And I say skins, it's clothing. You can unlock Nathan Drake and Sam Drake clothing to play through the game. Not the skin, so not their faces, which when I first heard the story, I was like, I can play The Last of Us as Nathan Drake. Yes. sold. Let me go experience that. Because it's so similar, right? Like, its foundational mechanics are so similar to Uncharted. It probably would be really fun playing through it as Nathan Drake. Instead, they've just put the clothes on, and the image they put on the blog, it kind of just looks like they're wearing ill-fitting clothes. Like, there's something uncanny valley about it, where I'm looking at Joel wearing Nate's shoulder straps and his open vest kind of shirt that he wears. And it just looks like Joel's wearing a t-shirt that's 2 sizes too small for him.
You know what?
There's just something not quite right.
Which I think they should do for Last of Us Part 1 remaster, because they clearly want to keep supporting these for a while, because Naughty Dog haven't got anything else coming out. So go back and get Nolan off back in the studio and go, right, we're going to put Nathan Drake into The Last of Us and take Joel out, Nathan Drake in. You're going to play through the entire game as Nathan Drake. Go. Like, it'd be a lot more quippy and jokey, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would definitely take away from the grounded, harsh reality of that world. Yeah.
And you take Ellie out and put Cassie Drake in there instead.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Tell the same story, but with very different people.
Yeah. And this goes back to my point about Tony Hawk earlier on, and just, in no other medium could you do this.
No.
Like, take stuff out and tweak it years and years after the fact and celebrate with a skin, although, like, you get collector's editions and 20th anniversary Blu-rays and stuff, but outside of the box artwork looking a little bit different, the core item itself is still the same old movie, maybe polished up a little bit, deleted scenes, whatever. But video games, man, they can just tear it up and change things and literally make the whole storyline differently ordered.
So, some of the comments on this blog are stupid. Like, one guy saying, I feel totally cheated that I bought the PS4 version of this game and other content is coming to PS5. It's like, well, if you've just bought the PS4 version, why? I wouldn't recommend anyone go out and buy the base version of the game.
No.
Unless you didn't care about any of the support, continued support of it. So
fools.
Yeah, and some people are complaining about, I should move on from this IP. And, well, they kind of are. They're just...
Yeah, it's just celebrating their 40th anniversary at the studio.
It's a bit of a celebration. They've had a cool idea to add to a game, and you know what? It might bring in a bit of money for Naughty Dog, which helps towards the fact that Factions was cancelled, and get something out the door while they're working on Intergalactic. And as you mentioned, it seems like this mod was done by Nixus rather than Naughty Dog themselves, so I don't know.
So no skin off their back.
Indeed. But Stalker 2 is coming to PlayStation, Chris.
Ooh.
So the Xbox exclusive is coming to PS5 and PS5 Pro in late 2025, which I feel that's a weird thing to go, late 2025 in July.
Yeah, I think this comes back to still remember the studio based in Ukraine moved to Poland, so I think still they've got that in there as like, we still don't quite know what our timelines are for production, but it's coming. Probably going to get delayed to 2026, but again, you can forgive them, right, for all the real world shit going on.
Yeah, they're probably just, we don't want to give an actual date till very much close at the time, just in case there's problems with the porting process, which it's probably going to be fine.
Yeah, but if there's ever a game you're going to support, it's this one.
I never got around to playing Stalker 2, actually, did you?
No, it never really appealed to me. Like, I wanted to, just because of all the shit the devs have gone through, but ultimately it's just not my type of game. It reminded me a little bit, of course, of like Metro, based on just like where it's set, but just like looking at just the gameplay and everything, I was just, like it looks fine, but just not fine enough for me to ditch whatever I was playing at the time to go check out.
Yeah, there's something about, for me, that first-person shooters just don't really hold my attention anymore.
Yeah,
I found that with Call of Duty, where I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I don't think I finished the campaign in Black Ops because I think I had to delete it so we could stream something or play something else. Might have been Avowed. I had to make space on my S, and then it was.
That's it.
Kind of bothered to install it. Like, I enjoyed it. Like, I enjoyed this Call of Duty more than any before. And maybe when Black Ops 7 comes around, I'll have to actually go back. It's the first time we've got a Call of Duty in like year-to-year chronological order without having to wait for a 3-year cycle. So 6's story might actually have big ramifications on 7. So when we start to see more of that in probably very soon, it's probably due out in October. It'll be interesting to maybe see if I go back and just wrap up that campaign, because I was deep into it. I think I must have been nearing the end, so probably wouldn't take much to wrap up.
Yeah, the story is typically not that long in Call of Duty. I think I had fun with it for one evening, and then just had nothing drew me back in.
Yeah.
There's been some drama though, Chris, with Subnautica 2, as developers have been ousted by Krafton as legal action, accusing them of abandoning the project. What on earth is going on over there?
Yeah, I heard this. I was listening to a few podcasts this week, and they picked up on it. And it's basically that as a premise, there's been a few stories and more news coming out. Is the Subnautica 1 obviously came out incredibly popular, and then they were acquired by Krafton, who are the guys who own PUBG. So the studio was acquired by them, and then they got to work on a sequel, Subnautica 2, and they had all the contracts and stuff signed. And apparently, in the contract negotiations, there was bonuses that was secured, $250 million worth of bonuses. So I don't know where the hell this money's coming from. I would never have said Subnautica was such a high value proposition. But those payouts were subject to hitting, obviously, key timelines and release dates and stuff like that. And
revenue targets.
Yeah. And as it was originally planned for early access in 2024, the timeline was delayed, naturally. And then Krafton basically came out and said that they're not giving the bonus payouts, but the devs are essentially arguing that actually the game is ready to go, and they are deferring the release date as the publisher and the owners because they don't want to pay the staff the money. So they're in this like weird catch-22 area where the people who own them are saying, hold off the launch, the game's not ready, but then if you miss those dates, we don't have to pay you $250 million. And the devs are like, well, no, it is ready, and you're just now saying you don't want to pay your staff these agreed bonus payouts. Probably because the people at Krafton think, why the fuck did we agree to $250 million worth of payouts?
Yeah, that's a lot.
And they're trying to almost correct the ship a little bit of saying like, look, if we just knock this on the head, we don't have to pay out $250 million.
If we force them to delay the game, then they miss their deadlines. See, that's why I think when it comes to a legal thing, you go, well, actually, no, you're forcing them to miss the deadline. Right? They're saying it's good to go. And there is financial, milestones have to reach to meet that 250. So
yeah,
if the game's not ready and it's shit and comes out and flops, then they're fine anyway. So it's a weird.
Yeah. And then this drama kind of comes off the back. So Krafton, as part of seemingly this tactical move, they announced they were going to replace 3 key members of the Unknown Worlds, who are the developers' leadership team. So the studio founder, the original director of Subnautica, and the CEO of the Callisto Protocol studio, Striking Distance, he's also one of them. At the time, they insisted it was sought to keep the co-founders and original creator involved, despite the departure, which again, it's a weird one how you want to get rid of them but keep them involved. Then there was lots of fan pushback talking about Metacritic targets and stuff that suggested that would have been the bonus. Jason Schreier at Bloomberg reported that the chief executives and other people on the project had all been pushed out amid their sudden decision to shift Subnautica's early access back from the agreed 2025 window to 2026. And that's where the move is said, this doesn't. The devs aren't supporting this move, which means the studio would not meet its revenue targets promised to unlock their bonus for the team. Krafton have put out a post since then saying they insisted on making multiple. Basically, the Krafton message contradicts which it's always going to the developer's message, saying that the statement they put out, the game wasn't ready for early access. They'd contacted the developers many times about dates and scheduling and weren't getting the appropriate leadership responses. So they're saying they're running the place badly, and then they're saying no, they're doing it too. So it's very much a back and forth, but they're basically countersuing them now, the development team. Yeah. And it's just a whole bit of a shit show. But it seems like you don't really know who's true. But I tend to lean more towards the passionate devs who probably aren't in it for the money necessarily. It's their life, it's their career, as opposed to the corporation who doesn't want to fork out money when it's as simple as miss a date.
On the surface, it very much feels like Krafton don't want to pay out a huge sum of money for a game that is probably going to not make 200. It's unlikely to make 250 million.
Yeah, which it goes back to why they agreed that amount anyway. But to to kind of wrap this up, to give a quote, this is from Cleveland, who's one of the devs, who said, "Yeah, we filed a lawsuit against Krafton. The details should eventually become at least public, because that's what happens in America when you go to court. You all deserve the full story. Suing a multi-million-dollar company is painful, public, and possibly protracting way was not on my bucket list of things to do, but this needs to be made right. Subnautica has been my life's work, and I would never willingly abandon it or its amazing team that's poured the heart and soul into it. As for the payout, the idea that Max, Ted, and I wanted to keep all the money for ourselves is untrue. I'm in this industry because I love it, not for the riches. Historically, we've always shared our profits with the team, and we did the same when we sold our studio to Krafton. You can be damn sure we'll continue with the bonus payouts as well. They deserve it for all their incredible hard work and this great team we have on our hands." So again, it sounds from him, he's like, look at our history and what we've done in the past. Why would we suddenly pivot and try and keep the bonus for ourselves? Yeah. And this is where Krafton is saying, like, these three devs are trying to, like, shortchange the game's development and just keep all the money. And it's like, okay.
The thing is, if what they're saying is right, then Krafton are literally defaming their character. Like,
yeah. I'm trying to shortchange them their bonus they were promised.
Yeah, we're trying.
More importantly as well.
But they're trying to
like,
point
if me and my team were guaranteed,
we're not going to give the bonus because these three people will keep it all to themselves. Yeah, surely Krafton would have a mechanism to pay out the money directly to the devs, to the individual devs. So that's
it depends if the payout goes to the team and then it's leadership's decision to how they distribute that. Maybe, like, you can't imagine the janitors getting part of the same bonus as the key developers are, but you know what I mean. There's
if you got 250 million potentially on the table to split between your team, you've worked out the split beforehand. If you're any sort of decent, because I'm not being funny. If it was me, as soon as we've got a potential 250 million on the table, I'm wanting to let's talk about the revenue split. If we get this, where does it go? How does it go?
Yeah,
well, you get that written down.
You'd work your arse off for it as well, wouldn't you?
You get that written down. You get the lawyers to make sure it's all above board. Then you don't have to worry about it. So then at no point, once that payout comes out, can someone go on the team and go, "You shortchanged me," because you go, "No, this is the document that you signed. We all signed this document to say this is how it's going to happen."
Yeah, I think this has been a mistake by Krafton, and they're trying to correct it. Like.
They've put a zero where there shouldn't have been one.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like 25 million, even that seems like a lot. Like, you got to imagine the studio's not that big of a studio, so even sharing 25 mil between, 100 plus people, 200 people, that's still life-changing money for every single one of them. Even at just like 1%, if you work on that team and you just get 1% of 250 mil, you are still sitting with potentially life-changing money. Insane.
So... I'm just reading very quickly. Subnautica. This is coming from a Unity blog. The original sold more than 6 million copies across PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. The early access version is a sequel, which we're talking about. It's hit number 1 on Steam, so it is quite a successful game.
Yeah, absolutely.
What that turns out in terms of revenue, that's 6 million, 250 million. It doesn't really ring true to me, like why they would get a 250 million bonus payout. That seems a lot for a game that's probably expecting to sell maybe 10 million copies.
Yeah, that's why I think it's a mistake that they're trying to rectify, but they're rectifying it through nefarious means, it would seem.
Yes, I mean, to be honest, if that is what Krafton are doing, good luck purchasing any more studios, because I couldn't see anyone else, any small developer selling a studio to Krafton if that is the case.
Not at all.
Because you live and die on your reputation and stuff like that, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know what, Chris? That is the end of the news for this week, and we are going to end this. I was going to say we like to end the show with this week in video game history, but that's coming next. Because it's 100 episodes of the podcast, and some people on Discord have written in with some questions.
Yeah.
So I compiled them earlier. So starting on the first one, D. Doesn't have his full name, Discord, just the letter D. Which of you first came up with the idea of doing the podcast, and did you think it would be running for as long as it has?
I'll take this one then, I guess.
Yeah.
It was me. Purely just keeping my eye and ears on the games industry, listening to podcasts and shows. And yeah, for 6-7 years ago, I don't really know actually how long ago it was. 2019, it must have been summer of 2019. I wasn't even married then. It was actually when we were out drinking yesterday, when we were explaining Chester to you.
Yeah.
And me and my wife went out for like an amazing meal, and we had just like I wouldn't say it would have been anniversary. We just went away for a couple of days in Chester. And it was after we'd had that meal I was telling you about, and we used to having drinks in a tiki bar of all places. I pinged the idea off my wife. Like, do you think any friends would be interested in it? How would I do this? Who do you think would be interested in it out of our friend group? And we kind of just chit-chatted, and I think the Stadia news had just been announced maybe a couple of weeks prior to that. It wasn't E3, was it? It was probably at one of the tech expos or something. Phil Harrison got on stage and said, "Oh, this cloud game and stuff was all like new." It was just a twinkle in people's eyes. And I think I'd messaged you not long after and said, like, this is what I'm thinking of doing. Or I'd like to do. I wouldn't want to do it alone. And I always knew you and me have always talked about video games forever, as long as I can remember. It's always been part of our just hobbies and interests and cultures where they're aligned. And we just kind of did it. We ordered our Stadia's Founded Editions, didn't we? And then I did some naming and some branding ideas, ran it past a couple of us, tried to get some domain names, see what were available from copyright reasons and stuff, YouTube channel availability, Twitter handle availability, all that like weird logistical stuff. I remember doing it on a work laptop in a hotel while I was working away in Milton Keynes, of all random places. So I remember just doing it on a night time, pulling some stuff together. And then we kind of got Tom involved, and he was the techie teacher, of course. He knew stuff. He'd done streaming before on his own, like very briefly on Twitch and that. So he knew about like OBS streaming, and he had a better mic and a camera than we did. And
a mic and a camera. I didn't have a camera for the first episodes.
I had a shitty laptop, and you had a 10-year-old PC, right?
Yeah. Because I dabbled with the idea of maybe doing some streams or something before, but my PC literally wasn't good enough. So I tried a few times, and I just couldn't get anything working. So I just kind of... It never took off, the idea. It was a couple of times over a few years. I was just went, I fancy giving it a I downloaded OBS, and okay, I've got an emulator streaming. I think I did one. I tried to stream Wind Waker before. So it's like, game's running. I've got managed to get the game running on emulator. Fantastic. That's good news. Right, OBS.
Step one.
Right, I've got OBS open. Right, let's go to Twitch. Dead. PC dies. Down. So it was just I could not. So that idea of doing some form of content was already in my head. So I just jumped on it when you said, let's do a podcast.
Yeah, and I think the podcast initially it was easier to do because we didn't have cameras. It was just voice for the first 35 episodes,
something like that. Yeah. Before we got
obviously we could see each other.
Not for the first few episodes could you see me, because I literally didn't have a webcam for the first maybe 5 episodes or something.
It's so crazy. And then we've always said we're quite big fans of like Kind of Funny. And I think they maybe the year before quit their jobs at IGN and just did their own little startup. Obviously they're much more connected than we'll ever be, and they live and breathe in that industry as professionals. But sitting around a microphone and talking about games, I always felt we especially were confident in doing that because of just what we were into. It's just like nerds talking about their hobby. You don't need a script, you just talk about it.
A lot of the conversations we've had over the years on camera would have happened off camera anyway. We just didn't. We record it now, and it's a bit more structured, and we record it now.
Yeah, but I think we always want to do a podcast because I think the cadence of news, it gives you like almost like a starting point for conversation.
Yeah.
Rather than us just rocking up every week going like, what do you want to talk about? Are we doing retro games this week? Are we talking about my love for Crash Bandicoot? You need some structure.
That was the problem with SideQuest. When one of the reasons I decided to end it was it was getting very difficult to come up with topic ideas every single week. So and then we'd find we're talking about the topics through the Sound to Stadia podcast anyway. So eventually, I think I get it to 100 episodes and we canned it.
Yeah.
So
we did, but for the right reasons. So In terms of doing the podcast, that came from like just looking at what kind of fun he did and what our interests were and how we could have some kind of cadence of a show going. But ultimately, it grew from the launch of Google Stadia.
It did,
I think
that
it's
was
very rare.
Stadia was definitely that thing, right? Because there's a million gaming podcasts still out there.
Yeah.
And I think because there's this unique piece of tech coming out. It is gaming related. We can be in at the ground level when we start our journey as content creators. So it gives us a nice launching pad.
Yeah, and it was all with the best intentions. Like we fully embrace cloud gaming. We still to this day shout with praises, and if they just kept bloody going, I still believe it would have like found some space in the industry because it's big enough for more people.
Yeah,
and it is just a genuine shame. But yeah, we kind of planted our flag on that one. And then that allowed us, I think, over the years to kind of flex into, like we always said, like play wherever makes the happiest. So we were never there about the console wars or even cloud gaming wars.
We were always open. We were never dedicated. We only play on Stadia. It was like we only do content on Stadia.
Yeah, and it was good. And we played things that we never would have played before. We've met loads of wonderful people we would never have connected with if it wasn't for that. And I think a lot of our audience is still here today because of that very reason. But just a tiki bar in Chester. And a platform that was never meant to be brought us together with you wonderful people out there. So good question. Thank you for that.
As a side thing, I remember early days people saying like the chemistry between me, you and like Tom like just felt so natural. It's like, well, that's because we are genuine friends. We're not a bunch of randomers on the internet trying to start a podcast. We were just like, well, we're friends, so that relationship is just us.
Yeah. And as much as you don't like to see it, there's a lot of people who attempted it, and like all varying degrees of like, success. Yeah, absolutely. But ultimately, a lot of them start to fall apart because if you don't know them people close enough, there is a reality when you're trying to get stuff scheduled, you're trying to get stuff done, and your priorities when you maybe don't trust them or know them enough. Like if someone turns around me, I've only knew for several weeks and says I've got something going on, I can't make it tonight, or something's getting in the way, I can't be bothered, or whatever it may be. Everyone has different varying levels of commitment as well. It's very easy to just go, well, you live in a different country to me, different time zone. There's just so many different factors that ultimately you can't grow. Whereas, like you said, the three of us, like a nurtured, genuine relationship from like back to primary school with us.
Oh yeah.
And Tom
we've known each other since
through friends. 35. Yeah, that was never gonna just somehow just disrupt and upset. And as you said, we might be 100 episodes of this very show, but 470 overall, and we've never missed an episode.
No.
Still.
Every single week for 474 weeks consecutively, we've put out a podcast.
Yeah, and very few, even professionals sometimes would struggle with that kind of consistency.
There's going to be a day where we're not going to be able to do it, and it's going to be heartbreaking for us.
It will, yeah. That streak is going strong.
Yeah.
Like even Tom, when we said to him yesterday, when we met him in Newcastle, and we'd said about we were going to do it yesterday, but birthdays and my wife's birthday and other stuff got in the way. We went out instead. We prioritised family and fun over sitting down and talking about games. He was like, you've broke the streak. It was like, no, we're still recording. We're just going to do it slightly hungover tomorrow instead. Because we don't want to miss it, because it would get under my skin, something chronic if we missed one.
I'm guessing your wife sometimes doesn't quite get how passionate you are maintaining that streak.
No, I really don't think she does. But we will, even if it means recording it live Monday morning at 8 a.m. just so something's going out.
There's been times where it didn't look like you've been away, and it didn't look like Tom or Rob would be available, where I was generally debating, I'm just going to monologue it. I'm just going to do a monologue for it might only be half an hour rather than an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. But I'm just still going to sit down. I'll still make sure a show goes out.
It can happen, and it will happen eventually. But to be going for that consistency, I do hope people appreciate out there, because it takes a lot of planning and stuff. But
indeed. As for do you think it'd be running for as long as possible as it has? It's like, I don't think I really thought about it. Like early days.
That's Simon, isn't it? Fabled Alpaca writes in and says, how does it feel to still have the longest running Stadia podcast? Because that's a record that's never going to be beaten. There's no one's twisted enough to come out there and make a Stadia podcast now and somehow go for more than 161 episodes.
It feels epic.
Yeah, and that was part of, again, back to it when other ones started to naturally like just wind down and collapse or whatever happened with them.
It comes back to our
We were just like, you know what? Let's just keep going, because there's still news. Because even though it's closing down, there was still games coming out. There was still like studios, like stuff was leaking out. People were leaving, and they were putting stuff on Reddit and stuff. We managed to get amazing guests on, like Grace. If you remember that, we got Google Stadia's community manager on a show to talk about games. Not Stadia, because we didn't want to go.
She had left at that point, but
admittedly, but she did not have to give her time at all to us. We're just random people from a different country that spoke about her work for several years. She did not know us anything. For her to come on the show for over an hour and talk about Liverpool, video games, hobbies, interests, her own stuff that she did. Yeah, I think that's a testament to how we were seen upon internally at Google Stadia and their own teams, and that's still a place of pride for me 5 years on.
I think it was mad to think that in this little podcast that we were recording in our separate spare bedrooms in our houses, largely for fun more than anything else, meant that there's people at probably a fairly significant level within Google's corporate structure who know our names.
Like Phil Harrison knows our names.
Yeah, Phil Harrison. Don't know
Absolutely.
that. We don't know that for certain, but I reckon he at least he may have forgotten names by now, but at one point in time he will have known our names.
I'd like to think that in some kind of Teams call or whatever Google internally used, they had a meeting about, right, low down maybe on the priority list, like our community, our gamers, like who are the people talking and influencing
this emerging community
right now? Yeah, like the
Chris and Grace will be talking about it.
Yeah, and they'll have had a list and said, well, we've got some of the big ones, like I've totally blanked on the name now. The Stadia Cast guys,
yes,
Bill and
Lloyd,
Lloyd, yeah. Who obviously got that like really good groundswell because they had a channel already going.
The way we talk about like when they're probably talking about things like IGN. We're not getting much coverage from like IGN at GameSpot, are kind of funny, but we do have this emerging community. So if we focus on that, we could grow that.
We tried.
Yeah,
we tried our best.
We did what we could,
and we handed their.
We kicked their ass in Rainbow Six Siege.
Shit kicking in Rainbow Six Siege. Yeah, we really, really did.
Considering we had that was a good stream. I enjoyed that.
Good times.
Sticking with Simon, Phil Alpaca is writing in going, what equipment did you start with? And what was the first thing to replace?
I had nothing. I had a laptop. I don't even think I had a microphone. I think I probably used my headset.
I think
earphones, like the built-in ones. So apologies for the quality of episode 1. I think our first probably was a microphone and a camera.
I think for the first few episodes, I had like just a gaming headset with like an arm mic sticking out of it. Then I bought like a cheap condenser mic, which I think was only like about 30 quid. Yeah. And I used that for quite a while before I upgraded to the Yotei. And I went for the Yotei purely because Tom had one, so I knew it was decent.
Yeah.
As for cameras, I've had 2 cameras. So after I bought it first, again, it was a cheap webcam because at the time we weren't even talking about putting our faces out there. We just initially I just needed a camera on me for our Skype calls because we started off doing recording through Skype. And then upgraded to the Logitech one I've got now. Your classic is a C90 or something. And I've had that for years now. So one day I might upgrade my microphone and my camera again, but it is not this day.
Yeah. What did I had my laptop. I sold my laptop quickly and bought a big PC tower for like 1,300 quid or something. I think I've replaced my camera maybe twice from a Logitech one to I'm on like a Razer something Pro now. Can't remember what it's called. Microphone. Yeah. Went for the fancy LED one just so I look different on camera because I'm not vain. Camera arms, LED lights for backlights.
Oh yeah, I've replaced the sound
so much stuff.
We did a stream before where my old like microphone arm just imploded on us. Like that was live at my house, and it's just like it killed the stream.
Literally.
I don't know how that happened because it's just that the arm fell a bit and the microphone came out, so the whole stream died. But I replaced my PC tower after trying to edit Lost Words and really struggling with it. So
my laptop used to render the podcast episodes. It used to take about 3 hours. I remember I used to hit it to render. Bear in mind, nothing happening, just a still image.
Yeah.
Of like episode 4, 5, 6, whatever it was, and I used to hit render, and it just used to leave my laptop, and it used to set on fire, make a hell of a noise. You know, it was a newish laptop; it just didn't have the power required. But yeah, PC's still running good. Touch wood today. But yeah, lots of equipment, lots of replacements, and a shit ton of Stadia hardware. Many controllers.
I think this goes to show you can put together a semi-decent show with just scraps. Like,
oh, absolutely. Just remembered, because I didn't move house, what was up in my loft as well, which I've only just remembered now I'm talking to you about it, is the bag that I put up in the loft, my little time capsule.
Yeah, oh, alright.
It's still, because I haven't put anything back up in the loft yet. So yeah, the Stadia hardware bag, everything protected in there. It's got the little... Because we got sent some free swag, remember? I think that's another thing to take away from it. What did I actually put in here? Hey!
I've still got that. That's in my cupboard.
Well, this bag smells a bit feisty.
That one, that mug isn't Stadia swag. You just made them. That's like, it's a prototype merch, really.
There's controllers in there. One place for all the ways we play.
You know what I have? Oh, the Founders Edition. In use. Literally in use. I use my water bottle as well. Like every day.
I don't, because I have so many from my own job.
Yeah.
Got the little mint green.
Yeah, I've got that. I've got
what was
I've
the
got
green
that
called? It was clearly white.
Wasabi.
Wasabi, that's it.
Everyone loved the Wasabi controllers.
T-shirts in there as well.
Yeah, I've still got some.
A Founders Edition and a sealed controller as well. So I don't know what that's going to be worth.
But yeah. But Pokemon Blue.
And our legal Sounds of Stadia limited company stuff from Her Majesty as well. Because she's no longer with us. She's also passed away.
But yeah, Founders Edition controller is still in use. I still think to this day it's the most comfortable controller I've ever held. The trigger's a bit naff. I thought the triggers always felt a bit too soft. A lot of people didn't like the clicky phase buttons. I do like the click. It'd be better. I like the feel of the click rather than the noise, but I'm using it to play Pokemon Blue. It's my default PC controller now, so I decided just to keep it in use.
I've got one or two. And again, we had so many. I've got one or two kicking around somewhere to play things, but yeah, lots of equipment, lots of hardware, lots of money that we got some of it back, but some we never will get back.
Doc Holiday. Doc Holiday asked us why we decided to do the podcast. We've already kind of covered that. Inspirations. Did you reach out for any advice or just jump in? We just jumped in.
Yeah, just again, aside from looking at what kind of funny we're doing, which was just out of a spare bedroom, obviously with way more multimedia expertise in terms of camera rigging, lights, microphone setup, like all of that, ours were just winging it and trying to find out. But that's one of the things, if you ever want to do something like this, just do it. YouTube is such a simple, easy platform.
YouTube's your friend.
All things aside, it really is. And it's free, and there's loads of software you can use to edit stuff and tweak stuff, and just absolutely self-taught. Watch a YouTube tutorial. The amount of times I've done like thumbnails and stuff, and I've just like Googled how the hell do I do this in Photoshop, and I've watched a 2-minute video and went, okay, I can do it now. But if you're passionate about something, and there's the great thing with gaming, we've always said, it's just like it's such an industry there's always news, always. Even on quiet weeks, there's always something you can talk about. In worst case scenario, you've got such a rich back catalogue of stuff to talk about. Whether like you and me could just sit here and wax lyrical about a game we both love from 15 years ago, and we could probably talk for an hour plus about just that. So we'll always have stuff to do. You
look at the second half of Sounds of Stadia, and we're talking about nothing for an hour every week.
No. Why did they pick red?
Yeah.
Nintendo has red as their colour. So
Amazon was smart. They went for purple. It was unused. And also went well with the Twitch branding, which they never really fully use anyway. Doc Holiday again. What's been the biggest challenge during the past 5 years?
I think I Stadia.
I think I've got kind of 3 answers for this. One, the collapse of Stadia, and figuring out what we want to do with the channel as Stadia was dying. Then we had the barren years where after Stadia collapsed, then we were trying to find out what we are as a channel. The growth just died. We stayed on about 1,500 subs for about 2.5 years. while we would never like focus on channel growth, it did suck to see, to be honest.
Yeah, that hits you. It's like, why am I bothering to do it? Like, I know we've got our core community, but it's like it is nice to think that your channel is always growing, even in just a small bit.
It felt like we're in the wilderness in the algorithm, and it's like, how do we get out of this? Because we know we've got good content here, we just want more people to be able to see it.
Yeah, well, you've got to imagine all of our algorithm content from YouTube's standpoint was catered towards Stadia stuff. So I think as soon as people stopped searching for anything closely related to that, we just fell out of the loop of the search algorithm, and it killed us. And then again, pivoting to, as we said before, like, do we do a PlayStation podcast, do an Xbox podcast? There's hundreds and hundreds of them out there. A lot of them far better than us. Some of them a lot worse than us. And again, back to the rest of the people in the community, like, you saw that everyone pivoted, everyone had like their emergency meetings of like, shit, what do we do now? Some great people as well who've like just slowly fell out of.
Some people just stopped.
Yeah, and I don't blame them. And we could have done, but I think because we had just that passion and friendship there, is again, because we were friends, I think that's one of the reasons it keeps going, because it wouldn't have been, right, I like Stadia, you like Stadia, but if we didn't know each other on other fronts, where's our common ground? And I think a lot of people probably came together because of Stadia. Some people jumped to Luna, but reality is, if you haven't got that natural relationship, I think, in the first place, they're not your friends, they're just associates by shared passion and culture. And I think once Stadia went, it's cloud gaming you can't really attach yourself to, because that's just something
we tried.
That's like saying, I love cars, but my passion's really about the petrol that powers them. It's like, you're not really passionate about the fuel, you're passionate about the brand and stuff, and if that's not there, you can't just pivot, because it's always a bit hollow. And I think we struggled with Luna. That's like, it wasn't quite the same.
No,
we wanted it to be, but we would have been doing a big disservice if we just committed to being a Luna channel.
When we switched to a general cloud gaming channel, I think the problem we kind of had there was there wasn't enough news. I think Stadia dying really slowed down the growth of cloud gaming in general. Because
there's no competition.
When Google went, right, here we go, cloud gaming, it's Google backing it, I think all of the big platform holders went, oh, we need to get in on this. When Google died, they all just took the foot off the gas a bit. Xbox and GeForce Now were probably just the leading lights for a long time, and eventually I think we just naturally progressed away from cloud gaming focus to just general, and then we're like, the decision to stop being focused on cloud gaming was more of a case of, well, more than half every episode isn't even about cloud gaming anymore. It's this game could come to the cloud, we don't know.
Yeah.
So
could it, would it, should it?
Yeah.
But then we found, like, we obviously managed to get our way back to the basic core of, actually, we just here to talk about games.
Yeah, just focus on what we enjoy.
We'll cover all platforms, and that's why I think unifying everything under the GamerGuild banner in the GamerGuild podcast, I think, is probably one of the best things we've done for the channel, just to unify, refocus, and simplify.
We'll always be champions of cloud. We'll always be champions of cloud gaming. We use it all the time. Like, I use, it's not really cloud gaming, but I use remote play every single day through the PlayStation Portal. Like, we do a lot of our streams on Xbox through the cloud.
Yeah, I don't think I have memory enough on my computer to install it. So if I ever host a Xbox live stream, it's generally most likely going to be streamed, cloud streamed. But yeah, I'd say biggest challenges definitely.
So we've got two last questions to wrap up quickly. Doc Holiday, where do you see the industry in 5 years? Do you still think cloud gaming will be the future of gaming?
I don't know about the future. Like,
it's part of the future.
It's because it's kind of contemporary now, right? It's been around for 6, 7, 8 years. Like this, especially in the last half a decade. It's just like one of the options. It's not the core default, but it's an option. If you're on PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo's still playing catch up, ironically. But yeah, I think the industry will see a lot of consolidation. I think we'll see a lot more closures and everything. But maybe that's what it needed. It needs streamlining, because some of these businesses, especially during COVID, just when they ballooned so much to sort out, to look after the demand, and then now you've got that natural shrinkage where the world's returned to normal. I think we're seeing the pain of that now, where actually and everyone's suffering for it.
I mean, where we see the industry and what I'd like to see, I think different things. I'd like to see a bit more stability in the industry, because we went through a process where there's huge growth, everyone's buying everyone, and now everyone seems to be on the verge of collapse, and there's layoffs and redundancies, studio closures all over the place. So I feel like COVID ballooned the industry, and then a lot of people who were playing games because they had nothing else to do with COVID, they went back to everything else they're doing. It's fallen back, and I feel like the industry's still playing catch up. I'd like to see over the next 5 years more stability, more security for the jobs and the people who create games, because it does suck talking about like the redundancies. I hate it. Cloud gaming, I think it's going to be part of the future. I don't think it will be the only future. But I don't think it ever would have been. I still think we could see a world where Xbox isn't a box, a dedicated box. I think in the future, maybe 10-15 years time, you might have the Xbox as a handheld, but then you can play Xbox on your telly or on your PC, and a lot of it might be in the cloud. But I still
I agree. I think looking at the industry, I think once we hit to like PS6 and the next Xbox, and the Switch will be 5 years old at that point. Switch 2 will be 5 years old. I think someone else, another big corporation, is going to have a crack at cloud gaming. I'm still waiting on Apple to pull that trigger. I'm
not sure that we'd see that in the next 10-20 years. To be honest, I feel like Amazon have tried, Google have tried, both of them have kind of failed. So any other big company would be looking at it and going, that feels like it didn't work for them too, and it's not a resource issue for them.
Yeah, I don't think it will be Apple. I think Apple are the probably only few left who could make it work. I think we'll probably see it from one of the big Chinese tech giants.
Yeah, I could see
like their laws and stuff are like a little bit different for getting shit done. So I think yes, they have the money. You know what? Someone from the Saudi investment fund. They're trying to whitewash the whole games industry, right? Into believing they're great people who do great things, and they have more funds and money than anyone on the planet.
See, with the Saudis, I feel like they want to get involved in the gaming industry, but they don't want to be a platform holder. I could see something like a Tencent though launching a console. By them. Yeah. Launching a console, because it's partially funded by the Chinese government. Putting a massive tax on imports of foreign-made consoles. To help push that, so I could see that taking off in the Chinese, something like that in the Chinese market.
So I mean, Tencent have a cloud gaming version, but I think because we covered it on the Sound Stadia podcast, but obviously it's either not gone anywhere or we're just not in the circles that hear about it because we're so westernized.
Yeah,
but who knows? I think something will happen. Something big will happen. One more big thing will happen. But yeah, if you'd have told me where we were at the launch of Stadia in this show 5 years ago to where we ended up to where we might be in another 5 years, who knows?
And finally, from Al, if Stadia had stayed around, do you think that the quality of games would have improved? Yes.
If it stayed around, I think it would have had to full circle have stayed around. So I don't think it would still be here several years on if it hadn't improved the quality. Because that was the biggest flag of all, wasn't it? It was just like, and it started getting them. That was the annoying thing. After Cyberpunk, and it got FIFA, and it started getting those deals, and it just ran out of steam.
I feel the moves Xbox have been doing in recent times, with pushing their games onto other platforms, that could have been great for Stadia, getting access to the Xbox library.
Yeah,
but I think the games could have came, because it did get some bangs. Bear in mind, there was a point where Cyberpunk, the best place to play it was genuinely on Stadia, because even on like a top-end PC rig, it was having lots of problems where Stadia seemed to be the most stable build.
Yeah, and you would have needed $2,000 for a computer as well. So there's a price implication different. And Stadia gave away free controllers for Cyberpunk. Who else would be stupid enough to do that? But yeah, lots more games.
Yeah.
In terms of just wrapping out this segment, I guess, Richie, as well, the channel was born officially on the 8th of September 2019. So probably, again, not long after that trip out in August. Current subscribers, 2,320. Or 2.32k. Videos, 1,368 videos in total. And total channel views, we're not quite at 1 million yet, but we're up to 726,541. So we're coming up on 750,000. We'll get to 1 million, and then that's a crazy number to think about when we get there.
Nice.
But not yet. It is not this day.
You never know. If 250,000 people watch this episode,
yeah, we'll see.
I think it's unlikely, but I think that's all we have time for this week. I think this week in video game history will resume next week.
Yeah,
because we're almost 2 hours into this show, so let's drop it there. Thank you very much for watching 100 episodes as well. If you've liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so you know when episode 101 goes live. Because we're continuing past this. Let's bring on to episode 200, Chris.
Yeah,
actually, next milestone is episode 500 total.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah. So we're looking forward to that. And that's been it for us. My name's been Richie.
I've been Chris.
JJ, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.